It's all right. All right.
All right, we're on.
Yep. Let's see. I want to see our connection. We're good.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Good. Max, you want to come be on the show? Come be on the show. You were born for this. Come here, Max. Come here. You were born for this, honey. I was born. I was born for this.
Oh, Max looks great.
Lick that thing, Max.
All
Lick it.
right.
All right. We're ready to go. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? Here we are, episode 14, as promised, Monday. Here we are, it's me, it's Carlos. We got the coach over here on my left. We're in the dining room today. Gabe, thank you so much for helping out with the camera. Max
Producer Gabe is back.
is in the shop. Yeah, producer Gabe, welcome back from episode 1. A little hiatus there. A little better, but he's back. He's back and ready to go. And we're off and running on a fresh week. Coach, how are we feeling on this Monday?
I've had better days.
You've had better days?
Yeah,
Very
I've had
stressful
better
day?
days. Very stressful day.
What's going on today?
Oh, just wrapping up tax season and
Oh,
things.
tax season, yeah. Yeah, that's always a tough day in this household.
Yeah.
Is the tax season. Which one, federal or state government today?
Well, I finished dealing with the state because I
Right.
paid them in full,
Yeah.
but they had some kind of glitch in their computer, and I spent over 2 hours with them because they were charging me fees when I already paid.
Right.
So I was just really frustrated. And, I just got bounced around from one person to another, and let's just say they gave me a lot of stress. And then
Right.
I had to deal with my accountant to finalize all the federal taxes, and, it's a little stressful, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's a rough day. Doing the taxes is always tough.
Yeah.
I'm sure. For everybody.
Yes.
So-
And then I'm working on an audit.
Yes.
So,
for Scott. For
oh
Scott
my
Miller,
gosh.
MDMS.
And let me tell you, it is not easy when you're going through hundreds of quotes in
Right.
just a matter of minutes, because it's, for a big firm,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very tedious work. So it's been a rough day.
Yeah.
And then the realtor texted me, and it's like, oh, I have to do a showing tomorrow at 11. I was like, no.
Tomorrow, 11 a.m.?
Yes.
Oh.
And I was like, I have audits all day tomorrow,
Right.
so it is not
Did
going
he
to work
hit you
out.
with the go work in a Starbucks or something? Did he try to hit you with that?
Well, I mean, if it was just like a regular meeting, I wouldn't mind just talking to one client.
Yeah.
But I'm doing demos where we're auditing clients of clients. So I have to have my A game. I have to make
You gotta
sure.
be focused,
Right.
settled into work mode. You can't be,
Right.
running around. Oh, we got the realtor coming. Your mind's in different places. You gotta
Right.
just be focused on the audit.
Yeah, and it takes a long time for my clients to be able to coordinate everything with their clients.
Yep.
And plus I wouldn't feel secure using somebody else's Wi-Fi for a lot of this
Especially,
information.
with data like that. It's very
Yeah.
sensitive data. You don't
Right,
want anybody
so-
hacking you and then you lose it all.
Or worse.
little Ed Snowden action.
Yeah, so
Hacking you and,
it's been a rough day, I'm not gonna lie.
oh, yeah.
How about you? How's your day?
It's all right. It's not too bad. We had a rough start to the day, so we're all done with school, right? So I was doing a little work this morning, and then Lauren leases a horse in Bethany. So we go up to the barn. This barn is phenomenal. Like, it's probably one of the best places I've ever been. It's got an indoor arena, an outdoor arena. It's got a viewing room with Wi-Fi, like a bunch of TVs. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's such a great place. So I love going there because I can literally sit up in this top viewing room and I can work and watch her do the horse, like watch her ride horses at the same time, because like the window is like right here and then you just overlook like the whole thing. So I get to watch her and then I work. So long story short, so we get there, we're halfway there. It's about a 40 minute drive. She goes, "Why did you get those keys?" And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Those keys that you have in the ignition, those are the wrong keys." I was like, "What do you mean they're the wrong keys? They're the car keys. What are you talking about?" She's like, "Well," oh my goodness. That's just...
To be
Just fell
continued
apart.
with the bad day.
Yeah, I know,
And then
right?
I'm trying to
Just
do
tack
the
it on.
show, and
My microphone's falling apart. And oh gosh. But anyway, so I'm just going to continue telling the story as I fix this. So anyway, we're driving, we're halfway there, and she goes, "Those are the wrong keys Dante's keys aren't on that key set. You grabbed the wrong keys. I go, what do you mean you grabbed the wrong keys? She goes, that's the wrong keys. So we had to drive all the way back to Bethany.
Back to West Haven.
West Haven. Get the keys and then drive back to Bethany, and that was just such a pain. And then Dante, acting up. So Lauren wasn't too happy.
Oh,
then,
Dante had an attitude today?
Yeah, he had a little bit of an attitude.
It's
So-
not easy when an animal has an attitude.
Yeah, Dante just wasn't feeling it today. Sometimes you gotta just listen to the horse, and if the horse is like, I'm not feeling it, then you're not feeling it. But so she was upset about that. She was in a bad mood, and I don't know. It was one of those. It was just a Monday, I guess. It just wasn't like I felt a little lethargic today. Not very like upbeat. So
Well, you guys were here late.
Yeah.
I need to get a restful start on a
yeah,
Sunday.
that's how I am too. I need
you
that.
guys were here last night at like 9:30.
Yeah. I
And-
felt a little lethargic this morning. I was tired. So, it's just one of those days, I guess. For real, like it's just a Monday. I can't believe I'm having so much trouble with this microphone.
I don't know.
Connecting it to the table.
It's too bad Presley's in here. He held
Producer
microphones
Press
for-
could have fix this for me. While
Or
I'm
just
trying
held it the whole show for you.
I know, just stood over here on the side.
And just held it like he was doing,
I know that.
what was the name of that show that he did?
Wonderland.
Wonderland High.
High.
Yes. Wonderland High, where because he was so tall, he was the perfect person to hold a microphone for all the scenes. He was a very important person doing that.
I know. What is he doing now? He's running the lights for the show?
He takes it so seriously, too.
I know. Well, how about last night? He goes, I have practice. I was like, practice? I was like, practice for what? I'm practicing the lights. I was like,
No,
what?
he said, I'm in charge of the lights.
Yeah, I'm in charge of
Like, very serious. Like, don't you dare try to drag me because I have a very important job for
Yeah,
Clue, the
clearly.
musical.
Very, very, very important.
Well, it's funny because, like, he takes it really seriously in terms of working the board and making sure these lights work and that light. But that's
Yeah.
perfect for a nerd.
I agree.
Like, he's not good in front of it.
He's definitely not. He's definitely not good in front of it. But,
But he's a great tech person.
Yes.
He's on robotics. He's like, that's his thing.
yeah, so, I mean, good for him. At least he's involved.
You know what show is great? I don't
What's
know if
that?
you've ever seen the show Moody's. The Moody's.
I've never
Dennis
seen
Leary.
movies. No.
Oh
What is
my
it on?
gosh. I think it's on Fox.
It's on Fox?
And it's a
Okay.
fantastic show. And Dennis Leary's like the dad, and like there's a son, and there was one scene where there's this really charismatic cousin,
Yeah.
and he goes to his cousin, one of the sons, and says, "You were a nerd in high school. You won the robotics. You didn't even lift weights." And he goes, so like later they make up. He goes, "I have to admit that me not lifting weights comment really cut me deep." So I'm thinking poor Press, like years from now, he's gonna be like, "You were a nerd. You did the microphone and the lights."
I know. And we got Gabe, who's the complete opposite side of the spectrum, working behind the camera when he's usually in front of the camera. Or
Yeah.
he's in terms he's on stage.
Yeah.
How's that, Gabe?
It's good.
How you like it back there?
I don't mind.
Gabe, are we allowed to announce what school you're planning on?
Yes.
Yes.
I think I was actually about to bring that up because I see more and more of those seniors saying that they're going to this school and that school. So Gabe, producer Gabe, is heading to AMDA school. What is AMDA short for?
American Musical Dramatic Academy.
American Musical Dramatic Academy in Manhattan, New York.
Yes.
So yes,
right near Lincoln
congratulations
Center.
to producer
Congratulations,
Gabe.
Gabe.
Heading to the big,
I'm so
the big
proud of
leagues
him.
in New York City next
Yeah.
year. Very exciting, Gabe. You're moving in. You're moving in soon
Yes.
in the summer, right? He's got to start. Gets going in the summer.
Yeah,
When
he
does it
actually, June 28th is his first day.
So 10 days after he graduates high
10
school.
days after he graduates from
You're
high
like
school.
like one of those Division I athletes. They do that all the time, where
This
they
school
graduate
is
and go
no joke.
right to the school.
It really is a difficult school. When I started looking at it, I was like,
Mhm.
Gabe, if you go to the school, you're not going to have a break. Like,
Right.
there is no breaks. It's not like you have a class and you have a couple of hours off, you go to
Yeah,
another class. Like,
yeah.
it is from 8 o'clock in the morning through sometimes 8 o'clock at night. Because after you do all your classes, you have to get studio time to go rehearse.
Right.
And then you got to be ready the next day for class. It's a long day.
And what's the program that you got into that you're doing?
I'm doing the Integrated Musical Theater Conservatory program.
The Integrated Musical Conservatory.
So yeah, I'm
program.
going for musical theater.
Right.
Okay.
Well, he got into the BFA program. So after 2 years, you go to Los Angeles.
Right, yeah. I remember we were talking about that. So you go to
Yeah.
LA your junior year.
Yeah.
And do you want to go to LA?
He doesn't
Well-
want to go to LA. He wants to go to Broadway. So what he's hoping is that
So he's
after
gonna be
2
like an NHLer. He's gonna drop out of sophomore year of college and go right to the league and
Exactly.
make the money.
Right.
I love it. That's the way. That's the way. There you
That's
go.
that's what he's hoping.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, a lot of the people behind the desk are the people who teach a lot of these classes. So
Right.
if he does a really good job and Broadway reopens, they're going to be looking for seasoned, ready to work people.
I agree.
So this really might be something so great for him. So God bless you, Gabe. I really hope that it works out, and it's a great school. I'm very proud of you. It's fantastic. Things are
You can't
changing
have it.
so fast.
I know. You're gonna have only 2 kids in the house.
Only 2 kids, just
I know.
Presley and Olivia.
And then Presley, I mean, so he's turning, 16 this
He's
year.
going to be junior.
He's gonna be junior in high school now. Yeah, I mean, time's running out. Then soon you're just gonna have Max.
Just Max. Well, no, Olivia's going to be in 6th grade next year, 7th grade. I have plenty of time with Olivia.
Olivia.
I'm so
I know
lucky.
Olivia was telling all of us about all the middle school drama yesterday. There's
Too
a ton
much
of middle school
drama.
drama.
Too
going
much
on.
drama. I got to tell you, I don't like it. Oh my goodness, I think I found a tick on Max.
Another tick?
Maybe. I'm not sure though. We'll look at it later. I'm not sure.
Are we gonna
It
look
could be a
mid-show?
pimple.
Mid-show?
No.
No?
I think it might be just a pimple.
Oh no.
Max, I'll go put you down. I'll send you over to
Mr.
Gabriel,
Max.
if you don't mind.
Mr. Max,
Max
nasty.
is a great dog. So how's everything else going?
It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. I mean, it's just it's nice being done with online school. Even though, I mean, we're going to have to see what goes on next year. I mean, now there's a big debate going on at school because, a lot of colleges are making the vaccine mandatory to return. And I know St. Mike's College did it. They made the vaccine mandatory to return. But a lot of the students don't want the vaccine at Norwich. Like, a lot of the students are like, we had COVID. We're fine with living without the vaccine and having the risk. But we lived through COVID. We're not.
Right, and
we're
your
not
body
gonna die.
already has the antibodies.
Exactly. So a lot of the students are like, we don't want the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
We're not comfortable taking the vaccine, especially after one vaccine was already pulled back for retesting, and then another vaccine that's like,
Listen.
they're changing the story. So
It's completely reasonable to not want to take a vaccine that was rushed through.
yeah,
It's one thing if you didn't have COVID and you don't know how you would react to it,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact if you've already tested positive for COVID and you've already had the disease and you were fine,
yep.
the virus really,
Mhm.
you shouldn't be forced to get the vaccine.
Well-
like if you really talk to doctors, they're the first ones to say, well, you know what, you
Well,
already...
that's what we're saying, and it's funny you say that because Christy, our neighbor, Will's mom, Will was actually telling me last night, we were talking, and Will said that his mom got COVID, was completely fine, wasn't sick, had no symptoms. She just got her second shot of the vaccine and has been bedridden for 2 days. Like, cannot get out of bed, feels terrible from the vaccine.
I don't like
2
that.
days.
I don't
days
like
now.
that.
She had no symptoms when she actually got the virus, but now that she's got the vaccine, she's bedridden. She's sick. Can't get out of bed. Feels awful.
There are a lot of people I know who have had really adverse reactions. I have a friend who had Bell's palsy because of it.
Yeah.
We're like,
Half the base shuts
I
down,
mean,
yeah.
it's just, I'm sorry, but this thing, listen, you got to do a lot of testing. Right now, in my opinion, that's what they're doing. Shooting up everybody with the vaccine
Yeah,
is their
and
testing.
seeing what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's the big debate right now. So there's the new SGA, the new president of the school, the Student Government Association, said that all vaccines should be mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
Little background on this guy. This guy is flat out came out. He's a communist. He believes in the Karl Marx theory.
Right.
Came out and said it. He's 100% on the communist, train. He came out and said that he's going to push for vaccines to be completely mandatory. All the liberals at the school are like, yay, do it. And then Majid, who was one of the kids that ran, big Trump guy, biology major, super smart kid. He goes, I don't think it's fair to make everybody get the vaccine. And he's one of the officers. So he's pushing against it. So now there's a big debate on whether the vaccine is going to be mandatory to come back to campus. So everybody's kind of just waiting to see what is going on there.
You know,
So-
on Facebook, it's going to say, there's going to be a sticker under the show.
Yeah.
COVID-19 to get your facts about COVID-19
100%.
because
It'll be on
nobody,
YouTube too. When
nobody's
the
allowed to
program.
even talk about this, and that's what I find so frightening.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of doctors that have different views from what the CDC and the typical doctors that are okay and allowed to talk.
Yeah.
They have completely different opinions. They've been doctors for over 20 years. They're epidemiologists. And it's like, they're just completely disregarded. Their opinions are complete trash. They're not allowed. And I remember growing up, it was always like with medicine and with science, you needed multiple opinions.
Yeah.
Not just one person says something and that's the way we all have to take it like it's the gospel. We have to, take it like it's scientific fact. We were always taught that it's scientific theory. And people have this theory and some people have that theory. And what you have to do is put both theories to the test.
Yep.
And then you come up with your facts once the right, what are they called, experiments or...
Yeah, exactly. Experiments and data. The
Right.
right data comes out.
But now you're not even allowed to have a different opinion.
Yeah.
And you could be a doctor for 20,
Well,
30 years.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because today I was reading an article and it was about a ex-FDA guy, worked for the FDA, who got fired because he said that the FDA needs to advise everybody to lift the restrictions of COVID because, almost 75% of the United States population has the antibodies for COVID or has already been vaccinated.
Well, yeah, that's what they're saying.
So they're saying, he's like, it's time to
Right.
move on. Like, let's get life back to normal. Let's start focusing on other things. And they fired him because he brought like a bunch of data and went on a news show and told the news show, he went on CBS and talked about it. And
he
on Face the Nation.
he
And
committed the third rail of politics right now.
Yeah.
Because you are not allowed to say anything against whatever the CDC or Dr. Fauci tells us.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
so
I've
they
never
fired
seen
him.
anything like it.
They fired him. He lost his job for saying
And
that.
he's an expert.
Yeah.
He's more of an expert
Yeah,
than half the people who claim
Dr.
to be.
Scott Caleb is his name.
Oh.
Fired.
Well, you know what? It's really disgusting. I heard about another study today on the radio.
Yeah.
And they were saying that it doesn't really matter whether you're 6 feet or 60 feet. If you're all in the same room, chances are you're going to get
You're gonna
COVID.
get
You don't.
COVID, yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you wear a mask or you don't have a mask on. This thing is so highly contagious that if you really go by how contagious this virus is, we should all be in white hazmat suits.
Yeah.
Like complete hazmat suits where, because you're dealing with this crazy virus, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And most people got it.
Well, it's me and Lauren were laughing. What was it? It was last Friday. It was Friday. This past Friday, we watched that movie. We skimmed over it. It was on Hulu. It was that movie COVID. Or it was about like COVID. It was Gabe. What's that? I think it's like Songbird or something like that.
Songbird.
You know what I'm talking about? The
Yeah.
COVID movie with the guy from Riverdale stars in it.
Yeah.
The ginger guy.
Mm-hmm.
The
So-
ginger guy.
I don't remember his name, but it's about COVID and how it mutated. So now it's called COVID-23 instead of COVID-19. But it was like it takes 5 years in the future from today, and you're not
Oh, I
allowed to
saw
leave your
that.
house at all, and you have to get an immunity bracelet. And if you get the virus, they throw you into what's called the Q zone, the quarantine zone. But it's all sick people, and it's a way for all the sick people to die together, so that eventually all the immune people will be the only ones alive.
Sounds like right on Wall Street.
Like it's nuts.
It's a dystopia made by the same people who made Purge.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a wild
And they
movie.
filmed
We
it
watched
in quarantine in 1 week.
Yeah, they did.
I'm sure it
wasn't-
showed.
Everyone calls it predictive programming. All the
It wasn't bad. I watched it and it wasn't terrible. At first you watch it and you gotta kind of ride it out for a little bit before it gets really good. But the first half hour was but then after that it got really good because it really it was showing
what people
how
are
crazy.
afraid of.
Yeah, exactly.
People are really afraid of camps where
Yeah.
they're going to throw the sick people.
That's
into.
that's what it was saying.
And I've heard that thrown around.
Mm-hmm.
And we're giving up our freedoms slowly
Yeah.
but surely. And it's really frightening because once you give them up, you don't really get them back so easily. Just think about that, people. So you may think, oh, I want to stay safe and give up a lot of your freedoms,
Yep.
but you may never get it back.
Yeah.
And you may become less safe, in all honesty. But, I think that's just a symptom of people not having faith in God and, giving all their faith up to the government. And the government's going to take care of everything for them.
Well,
And
that is the Democrat way. They tell you to trust the government.
I do not trust the government.
Well, they said get trust
I
the
don't
government.
trust
The government will save
anyone.
you, is what they said.
I don't trust anyone because everybody has their own selfish best interests at
Yeah.
heart. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, they just decide what they're going to use in order to push their own agenda. That the older I get, the more I realize that about people.
Right.
It's not that they really care about things, but they're just trying to push their own agenda forward. And I
Yeah.
notice that a lot on Facebook with certain people, especially with this whole race thing. And even like, a lot of people attack the kids in this town. Like they're just so
Yeah.
bored. They attack all the kids and it's just like, I've had it. It's really getting to the point where it's like, when are the adults going to start acting like adults again? Because being that they've given so much power over to the government, they're starting to revert back to being children, where they're waiting for somebody to tell them how to handle every situation.
Right.
They're not allowed to use their own common sense and handle a situation instinctively the best way they feel that they should handle a situation.
Yeah.
So until somebody comes and gives them the script and says, this is exactly how you're allowed to handle the situation without getting canceled, we're all like acting like a bunch of children lately.
Yeah. I agree. The cancel culture, I feel like it's so ridiculous because it really cancels out all common knowledge and all common sense, and forces you to think one way because you're so afraid of everybody shunning you that you can only answer a question or only answer an issue a certain way, because if you bring up any other fact or history or anything like that, then they're like, you're done, like you can't talk to anyone again. Like it's over. Your social life is through. You will have a terrible reputation. We will bury you. It's like it's unbelievable. But I've noticed a couple Democrats and are starting to fight back a little bit against cancel culture, because I feel like even their liberalist agenda is like on the verge of getting canceled. So they have to dial it back a little bit.
My dad was a big hippie.
Yeah.
He was very liberal. He would be going bonkers right now if he saw everything that the Democrat Party is doing right now, because that goes against everything as to why he was such a liberal.
Right.
He really believed in freedoms and making your own decisions and not judging somebody if they have a different opinion or make a different decision. But what they're trying to do is stranglehold everybody, where it's like, you do the wrong move, you could be getting someone sick and it'll be all your fault. You do the wrong move, you're going to be called a racist. You do the wrong move, you're going to be hurting and just dismembering society, and people will never recover because of the little scar they may have to get psychologically because you didn't handle the situation perfectly. Like, whatever happened to get over it? Get over it, people. Whatever happened to that? Why are we constantly, being so, walking on eggshells about everything? Or being so sensitive? Like, there was this guy. I don't want to give up his identity, but of course he's on social media.
I think you might have to give up his identity.
I'm not going to give up his identity. But the point is he's on social media and he's a POC. He's a person of color.
Oh, okay.
Because,
Yeah,
you're a person of color now, that's a very sensitive thing. So he's a person of color. I know this guy for over 15, 16 years. Nice guy. He's saying how he went to, I think it was Pasta Cozy or something, and he's sitting outside, and he was so offended because some of the biker kids were, using profanity and saying the N-word. So then right away, somebody has to come in and say, that's because everybody in this town is so racist. And then he goes, well, actually, it's not the white kids. It was actually the biracial kids who were the ones that were using the N-word, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of shut that person up, thank God. But then another person who I know is also a POC said, listen, why didn't you say something? You should say, hey, that word is disgusting. It's not right. So I was like, you know what? I totally agree. I'm like, I know these kids for years. Like, I know tons of kids. Like, when you had your graduation party, those kids weren't strangers. Like, there were over 100 kids here, but I knew them all from being a room parent, for being in soccer, being in baseball, being in hockey, from all those activities, being in dance. doing the musicals. I knew all these kids because you live in this small town
Yep.
and you get to know people.
Yeah.
I
No,
said,
agree.
so first of all, those kids, I know the kids that you're talking about, they have been nothing but respectful when they're around me. But
Yeah.
they probably know that I would say something to them
Oh,
and then
I
threaten.
100% agree with you.
And
I 100%
like I
agree
would,
with you.
and I'll tell your mother, you better come correct next time. I better not be sitting here at Pasta Cozy hearing you talk that language. But
Yeah.
why are people so afraid to tell a kid, hey, knock it off.
Mhm.
Knock it off. Don't talk like that. So
Yeah.
then one of the parents has to be a wise ass and goes, Lisan, why don't you come back to Sliney? Because those kids come and they hang around near Sliney and they're making dismissal so tough. So I laughed.
Wait. The kids are making dismissal.
Well, they're
so
probably
tough?
going to Hammerfield. The kids who were using the profanity, who were, the biker gang, that I said, just say something. Because when they're around me, they're very respectful.
Right, but how I don't understand. Like, how does that make your job harder? Like, how does that make dismissal tough?
Well, they're around. I don't know. So I said, talk to the administration. Oh, well, I just think somebody should yell at them or whatever. I said, if they're really making things dangerous, like, people like that, they're making things dangerous. Like, they have to, make, and I said, you know what the problem is? Maybe the adults around here need to start looking in the mirror and start being accountable because these kids don't know you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you need to start being part of the solution and not being part of the problem. Because I know for a fact that those kids would never behave like that in front of me because I know that they would say, oh, that's Mrs. Villa. Everybody knows her face. Just like there's certain parents
And
around
voice.
here. Come on, do you think that if it was, let's say, Coach Mike Tracy or Coach Scott, or, let's say Bill Benny, or I don't think they would see certain parents that they've grown up seeing all the time,
Right.
and they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Certain moms that they see, and they wouldn't do it because they'd be like, oh gosh, not only do I know her, but she knows my mother. And
Exactly.
so people need to stop staying in their little cocoons, never volunteering because they never have time, and not being involved in the
That's the
community.
biggest crack of shit is that you never have time.
Right.
You never have time, but you'll be the first one to tell me about that Netflix show you binge watched.
Thank you.
You'll be the first one to
Thank
be like,
you.
oh, did you guys watch Tiger King? Yeah, no, I was busy volunteering doing this and that. But you didn't have time to do that because you were too busy watching Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Or, sliding through Facebook thinking about how you can comment on somebody's shit.
Right. There's so many years that I remember that I used to make jokes to Dad. I'd be like, why do we even have living room furniture? I never get to sit on it.
Yeah.
We were never home. We were always out doing things.
Yeah.
So, I
No,
feel
you
like...
guys were very active parents.
But
for sure.
kids are good, and if they don't come correct, say something. But the thing is, the government hasn't issued the order yet. How to handle the situation if kids are behaving inappropriately. The first instinct was for one fool to call them a bunch of, the whole town's racist, the whole town. First of all, you know what I feel like writing to this idiot because I get so
What are you
frustrated.
thinking about writing to him?
I feel like saying to this girl who's always bitching about how racist Branford is, why do you live in Branford then?
Yeah, move.
If I had a black child and he was so miserable living in Branford because everybody's racist, I would move.
Yep.
I grew up, there was not one white Anglo-Saxon Protestant American on the Lower East Side when I was growing up there.
Yeah.
Everybody was either black, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Chinese, or Jewish.
There
The
it
only
is,
white
yep.
people were Jewish, right? There were no wasps running around. But guess what? There was still racism. The Puerto Ricans used to fight with the Dominicans. The Chinese used to fight with the blacks.
Yeah.
The Jews fought with everybody. Because let's be honest, when you're going to be a racist, we all agree that we don't like the Jews, right? Isn't that the way that it is? When we're going to be a bunch of racists?
Everybody has no problem making Jew jokes.
I mean, come on. So
No problem.
there is no perfect utopia. And I feel like saying, stop dissing Branford. This is a great town.
Yeah.
Stop dragging Branford, calling about what a racist town it is. Are we perfect? No town is
But
perfect.
Ma, you know what's so crazy is that they do that with not only with Branford. This is a perfect example of people talking about Branford, but they do that now with the country as a whole.
Yes.
I have not seen so much hate on a place where you live that gives you the ability to say that if you go to half the countries in the world and you complain about the country that you're living in, and they'll kill you. And they'll publicly kill you. They'll kill you in the middle of the street and leave your dead body there and have people walk over it. People complain, about Branford, about Connecticut, about the country as a whole, and it's like if you hate it so much that you are just saying how terrible it is, that it's the worst country, that it's so unfair to A, B, and C, then leave. You're more than welcome to pack your shit and get out. Like, be my guest. Nobody's telling you have to stay here.
Well, this woman grew up in Brantford. She's like, I grew up in Brantford. So why do you raise your child in a place that's so horrible and racist?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a
Brantford,
break.
Connecticut is so horrible.
It's
so
not.
horrible.
It really isn't. Listen, am I saying that there are no racist people? There probably are, but there
there's
are a lot of loving
There's racist people
here.
everywhere. It's hard to go someplace. And look, those people are 100% in the wrong. Like nobody defending them, but you can't run from racist people because they really are everywhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I grew up on the
can't
Lower
run.
East Side, and there were no white people there. They weren't.
Yeah.
There were no white people. There were no blacks.
You were the minority.
There weren't even Italians or Irish people. Like I was, because my mom was Puerto Rican. My mother felt very comfortable there. It was, and I'm half white. My dad is white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, Irish, German. And, having the last
And you got
name
the dad
together,
genes.
it wasn't easy because there were a lot of people who were prejudiced towards me.
Yeah.
But, the thing is that that's life. Get over it. You got to get over stuff, and you have to, concentrate on the positive and try to eliminate the negative.
Yeah.
And the way that you eliminate the negative is not to glorify it, bringing it up, being so negative all the time.
Right.
The way to get rid of it is to stay with the positive. And then you'll see people will love each other, they'll be together more. And the negative people will be like, I have to change my ways. Because it's not
100%.
cool. I don't know. I found that whole conversation, and it really pissed me off how they're going after like the kids who are so freaking bored because they took away half the activities.
Yeah, you can't even do anything.
Right. So it's like, so these kids are going around riding their bike and they're talking trash. Who
Yeah.
did it when you were a kid? Talk trash.
Mm-hmm.
I know adults who talk shit. Come on, people. Chill. Not everything has to be so dramatic all the time.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Bill Benny says that biker gang grows by the day. They have an initiation now to get into that biker gang. Liv started a rival gang.
Well, Olivia has her own little
Drift gang.
The Drift Gang.
Drift gang. It's a rival gang.
And Presley actually complained to her about it. Presley
Really?
said, "Listen, I'm tired of you bringing down the quality of life in Brantford. When people want to drive their cars and not worrying about kids on the streets."
You know what's so funny? We were talking to Liv yesterday at dinner, and Liv was talking about Drift Gang, and Lauren goes, "What is the difference between Drift Gang and the other biker gang,
Bike life is one, yeah.
She goes, "We don't swerve in front of cars." And I was like, "Oh, you don't swerve in front of cars?" She goes, "No, we ride on the sidewalk and we wear helmets." I was like, "Oh, you guys are rebels, aren't you?" I was like, "You guys really show them wearing your helmet. You really show them now."
It's so funny. Sometimes she goes, "Mom, I was on my bike and bike life was there. So I rode, and then they say like stupid things to me." So I said, "So what do you do?" She goes, "I flip on the bird and keep going."
There you go.
Yeah,
That's how you handle it.
Yeah, she doesn't get all upset.
I gotta say, some of those bike life kids get a little reckless. So I remember I was driving last summer. I was driving and coming back from the grocery store, and like 3 of those kids like swerved in front of me, in front of the truck. And I was turning. This was over by the Stony Creek Brewery, so they were going underneath the bridge.
Right.
And I was turning, going back home, and they cut right in front of me, like 3 of them, and I had to like slam on my brakes, and they flipped me off like I was the asshole. Like they came from the sidewalk out of the parking lot of the Stony Creek Brewery, cut me off, like they didn't even stop at the stop sign, just cut me off, and like kept going and flipped me off like I was the asshole.
I'm surprised you didn't put it on the internet page.
Oh, I know, right? I should have.
Why did you go right to Facebook? I was just driving by the brewery.
I love the Indian Egg page when they're like, "Coyote sighting, 3 a.m. Like, oh, you were out at 3 a.m. and you saw a coyote? Well, what the hell were you doing out at 3
Well,
a.m.?
what's so funny? One day Presley saw when I said, "Presley, you gotta go on
Oh,
Indian
I
Egg page."
remember when he posted it.
We were laughing so much. I said, "Come on, right away, you gotta put it on there."
I know, those Indian Egg pagers, man, they talk about a smack talk group. They love to talk smack
Oh,
on
how
that
about,
group.
did you hear sirens? Who heard the sirens
Oh
today?
my God,
There
I
were
know.
sirens today.
I saw that. It popped up in my news feed. They were like sirens in Indian Neck. It's been going on for a while. Anybody know what's going on? Like,
Always.
what are you guys
Whenever you
doing?
hear
What do you do
sirens.
with your day that you're sitting there and you have to find out what's going on in everybody else's life? It's like, what are you writing? What are you writing a show in there?
I find it so hilarious. Like, You know, that's
Sometimes I just want to like write like fake stuff just to see like how wild people would get.
just
on it. Like
don't
be like,
you dare.
if I write like moose found in the middle of the road and like Photoshop a moose like in the middle of the street, moose. See how
No.
many people run outside?
Are you
Where's the
kidding me?
moose? Where's the moose? Like, that'd be crazy.
Don't do it. Don't do
They'd
it.
be wild if I did that.
No, don't even do it. You know what else is good is that next door page.
Which
Do you
Nextdoor
belong to
page?
next door? There's like next
I
door
don't think
neighbor.
I don't think I'm
Oh
on
my
that
gosh,
page.
we're gonna go walking around 10 o'clock in the center of town. Who wants to join our walking group?
Well, those
So-
walking groups get massive.
They do.
They
so
get massive. Those groups.
I find it so like that now. There's like, well, we want a trolley trail walking group. Who wants to do a trolley trail?
I know. Soon we're gonna have those massive groups. I remember when I told you that one time when I was running on the Shoreline Greenway Trail, and there was like that massive old people walking group just walked right through. It was like 100 of them, like just coming with the canes and with the walker. And I was like, "What is going on?" I was like, "What are you doing here?"
Speaking of canes and walkers, do you ever find how funny it is how the old people, like they move so slowly when you're in a store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, they're shopping and it takes them like 5 minutes to get down an aisle.
Yeah.
So then when you're going to the checkout, do you ever notice how fast their asses move to get in front of you online?
Oh,
I'm
my
just
God.
saying, I'm at the supermarket, right?
Yeah.
And I see these old people who, like, you know, they'll be down the aisle and you're like 6 feet, most vulnerable. It takes you like another 5-10 minutes in order to get down the line to like get pasta or whatever because they're looking at every product
Right.
and you're trying to be respectful. Then that same old person who could barely move, all of a sudden you go to check out and then racing.
Well,
to
remember
get in front of you.
they used to haul ass at church when we got those donuts.
Yes,
They
remember?
would haul ass from church into the donut room. They would haul ass.
Mass
Like that was
presented.
quick.
Go in
Go
peace.
in peace.
Then
Then you just see them
like the last.
fly to the donuts. And Prez had to lay one out in the donut room to get one because it
we
was
were
like
so upset
that
with
was
him.
so funny though.
Oh
when
my
he had to
gosh,
lay
because
one
they were
out
gonna
for
take the
donut.
last place.
Yeah, because they would fly in there and clean it out. But because you were like, oh, you gotta stay to the end of the song. The
Yes,
priest
you
gotta
gotta
walk
stay-
by
yeah.
it. So the old people would sneak out after communion. Those communion people would go get the communion and just walk out and sneak out into the donut room and take like 2 or 3. Like those were pigs. Those old people.
Well, I mean, I noticed that when it comes to getting in line in front of me, they see me walking to the register and booking.
I know.
And I'm like,
Yeah, they do it on the road too sometimes though. Like when you're making a left
oh.
and people are coming down one of those streets that don't have a stop sign and they speed up to get in front of you before you can make that
Yes.
left and then they slow down.
Right.
It's like, well, why did you have to speed up to get in front of me? Like, what is the purpose?
It drives. It
that
just,
pissed me off. That happened to me 2 days ago in Milford. Like I was coming back from Route 1 and they like cut me off to make sure that they were in front of me. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I mean that's another thing I noticed. Like it's just like, oh gosh, things that make you a little crazy. That should be the title of this one. So I let them win. I'm just like, do I really race you?
Of course, because I mean, hey, you never know. They're probably on the clock. They got to get those last few minutes in. Hurry up to get home.
Well, it's like, oh, you know, we gotta watch our shows.
I
They don't know how to
know.
use
Probably
the
the
DVR.
CBS is at noon. You know, friend can't talk at noon.
She can't. If you talk to her, and it's like, listen, I'm sorry, The Young and the Restless is coming on now. It's 12:30.
It's so funny. I know. They love their soap operas.
Well, yeah, because they don't work the DVR or
No.
recording things,
No,
so
they
they
can't.
need to get there.
It's
I'm
so
just
hard
like,
though to
oh.
record stuff now. I know for sports and stuff, like it used to be all the time where you could just record it and then be like, don't say anything. But now it's like, if you go on like social media and everything, like the scores and the updates are always
Yeah.
there. They ruined recording.
Yeah.
They ruined it with the live tweets and everything like
And
that.
plus,
They
like if you
ruined
put
it
on
for
the
you.
radio too.
Yeah.
Like if you have any kind of talk radio or even just
Anything.
getting the news, like
Yeah.
they give you the sports updates.
It's over
It
for
is
that.
hard. I remember your father when we were dating.
Yeah.
If he was recording a game, we weren't allowed to put the radio on in the car because he didn't want to know. And to think I put up with that crap, that should have been a warning, right?
What was it when what was it, the OJ thing and then Dad wanted to watch the Knicks?
Yes, the
And
whole
it was
country's watching OJ. The whole country is watching
The
OJ
high
and the
speed
Bronco.
OJ, and-
And he had such an attitude. I just want to watch the Knicks. I want to see what's going on with the Knicks.
Weren't they playing Jordan that day too?
Yes,
right?
it
Yeah,
was-
they were playing
I mean,
Jordan.
That's when the Knicks were competitive, thanks
Yeah.
to Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
You know, those
The
were
Knicks
the
are
good old
competitive
days.
again now though.
I know Dad's excited about some guy on the Nets.
The Nets. I hate the Nets.
I
Fuck
know.
them.
Well, Dad
Fuck
loves the Nets. That's his team. is the
I hate the
Nets.
Nets. The Nets. They drive me crazy. Frickin', they have all those superstars on their team. What's it? Kevin Durant. Kevin
Is that
Durant.
one?
I'm watching the game the other day, and Kevin Durant is sitting in the crowd with
Mm-hmm.
the fans. So he's hanging out with the fans, eating a hot dog in the crowd in the first half. Kyrie gets thrown out of the game. Kevin Durant comes down and goes, "Coach, I'll go play." Goes in the locker room, puts his stuff on, and comes out into the game in the second
Is he
half.
on the team? Is
Yeah,
he
yeah,
roster?
he's on the team. So he just what pisses me off about basketball is that the players are such like prima donnas that they just pick and choose when they want to play, and they get paid like $40 million a year. So Kevin Durant is like, I'm not feeling like playing today, so you guys got this. I'll come watch, and I'll sit in the stands and hang out and do meet and greets. So then Kyrie, who's playing, gets thrown out, and Kevin comes down from the stands. Coach, you need an extra guy? I'll go in. Goes in the locker room, changes, comes out.
How much did he score? Did he score?
Yeah, he had like 24 points.
And that is why
The
he
league,
could pull
the
that
league
move.
is such a joke. It's really so bad.
Well, Olivia loves
bad.
basketball.
I know. I just
She
I
loves
hate
basketball.
the NBA because it's such a joke of a league.
Have Presley, right? I take him to the pediatrician. He's over 6'4".
Oh, for the physical?
Yeah.
He's like 6'5".
I'm like, Prez, why don't you ever? I hate basketball. I'd rather.
He's so uncoordinated though. He's
Well, it's
so
funny because
uncoordinated.
in junior high school, when he used to have to play for gym, I
Yeah.
guess he was always like the center, and his job was to get the rebounds,
Yeah.
and he always got the rebounds. So he'd say, I go, Prez, why don't you just do that then? Because eventually the kids are going to catch up to me size-wise, and it's not going to be so. Guess what, Presley? Nobody's freaking catching up
Not
to
in
you.
high school. I mean,
You would be great at
even though
ND, just dancing.
the kids that were like when I was like a underclassman, there were some kids at Notre Dame, some big kids. Like Jelani White was like 6'7", and then
But he'd be able to hold his own in high school.
he would.
He would have been just fine, and then he'd be
He'd
getting
be a
exercise.
little like center or power forward or something.
Yeah.
He could drive to the rim.
Or just get the rebounds. You know,
Yeah.
like just. But Presley, he has no interest at all in sports.
In sports at all.
When we
I know.
were in Pensacola, all the coaches came running. They were so excited, and Presley's
Really?
like, "I'm in band. I like to play the trumpet."
Unbelievable. I know.
He's just such a nerd. He really is
He
just such a nerd.
he's got no interest in anything but like school.
He
He loves
really.
school. He
He's
lives for it.
love school, love
Yeah.
science. I'm like, it's like, oh, well, with college coming up, whatever. I want to be a chemical engineer.
Engineer, yeah.
What the hell is that? I didn't even know that they were engineers in chemistry.
Yeah, oh yeah. Chemical engineering's huge.
I said, so what are you going to do? Come up with the next vaccine?
He's gonna be like Tony Stark. He's gonna build the Iron Man suit.
We'll see.
That's
He
that's
does say he'll
chemical
take
engineering.
care of us at his old age.
Chemical
After my-
engineering. Well, the chemical engineering is like rocket ships.
Oh,
Like
really?
it's a
I
chemical
didn't know
blast
that.
that pushes the rocket ship into space. So it's
Oh,
he'd be like he could go to NASA and get a job like that.
I didn't realize
and
that.
build rockets. Even though you got to go work for Elon, don't go work for NASA.
What did you think of Elon's ship?
Did you with the aliens? Did you
It's
see
a
that?
UFO, unidentified.
Oh come
flying
on! That
object.
thing totally made a course correction. Did you see it? Did you watch the video? You watched the video. The thing made a course correction. It turned away from the ship.
What is up with that?
Like that is clear as day that that's an alien. Like
And
there's
did they
just
call the astronauts and
yeah.
say, get
Well,
ready?
they were like put your suit on because you're in a collision course, and that thing turned like it straight turned out of the way of the ship because our ships are so like technically unadvanced that it can't turn in space. Once it's in an orbit, it just carries out
Right,
in that
yeah.
orbit. We don't have the technology to like actually move in space. So that ship clearly corrected itself. The UFO clearly corrected itself and went around our ship.
And can you imagine Elon Musk was the
No
one
doubt,
who...
of course.
Man,
Of course.
what is going on with that? I mean, all of a sudden you hear all this
Well,
talk about
NASA
aliens.
is like going hard today on press, like saying like it wasn't an alien, like it wasn't, like it was a rock or something. Like they're going hard on press today, because the people would go nuts if like they were like, yeah, it was a ship and it moved out
Do you
of the
think
way.
the people would care? Would they be more scared of COVID or aliens?
I don't know.
We should take
I
a
have no
poll.
idea.
What are people more afraid of? COVID or aliens coming to the
I know. Are you more afraid of Independence Day or, you know, COVID-23?
Let me tell you, I mean, honestly, when I heard that story, I was like,
That was
man, they're
unbelievable,
freaking
huh?
aliens out there.
Yeah, it's real deal.
Like, there's no doubt that there's
We didn't
aliens.
make the Space Force for, you know, putt stuff.
Exactly.
Like, that wasn't like, let's
Trump
just,
is like, we're going to come up with a...
I'm going to pull a rabbit out of a hat and say, let's do Space Force. Like, there's probably something out there that we're just casually ignoring or not telling anyone about it.
Mhm.
But, you know, if you say that, then they're like, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Oh, and, you know,
But-
it's... Yeah, you're just not allowed to have any common sense.
No, none. It's just, look, they talk all the time about this planet being discovered and this planet being discovered and, oh, we found this galaxy, a new galaxy out there. So you're telling me that there's so many other universes and so many other galaxies out there that we're the only intelligent life forms out there? Like, there's nobody else that can form intelligent life the way that human beings do? Like, there's no way. Like, mathematically, it's like such a slim chance that we're the only intelligent life forms out there. And that clear, like, it was so clear that thing turned around from that ship. Like, it moved out of the way of that ship coming by. Like, it was clear as day. And it was moving fast. Like, it was a quick moving
Yeah.
ship. Like a rock. If it was a rock in an orbit,
Right, it's
it
like
would,
more like...
yeah, it would methodically be passing by it. That
Right.
moved past that ship in maybe a second. Probably less than a second
Yeah.
it moved past that ship. So there's no way that you're going to tell me that was a floating rock that casually missed our spaceship in orbit. Like, no way. Like, that thing totally moved.
Well, the more evolved we get, the
Yeah.
more likely the chances are of finding a more evolved
Yeah, well, they
species out
probably
there.
are looking at us like we're going into space, you know, multiple times a year. We're putting shit into space. So they're probably like, these guys are figuring it out. Let's go over there and, you know, take a look at what's going on.
Yeah, well, the way
'Cause
that
they're
they passed
putting
Elon
shit in
Musk
space
ship,
now.
I don't think they're worried. I don't think they're
I know.
too worried.
We gotta call Will Smith and get him ready to get out there. That's a great movie. Oh, such a good film.
I do find it very interesting though, because there's a lot of historical evidence as well
Yeah.
of, you know, centuries ago of the people having their own interactions with aliens. And-
Yep.
So I mean,
Oh, they're in Egyptian hieroglyphics
Exactly.
all the time. All
Yeah.
the time they're mentioned in hieroglyphics.
so I find it interesting. Same with the Mayans, right?
Mhm. Yep. The
I
Mayans
mean-
had a lot of interaction. I wonder if Jesus had any interactions with aliens.
Napoleon was abducted by aliens.
Yeah, that's what they
Napoleon,
say.
Yeah, Napoleon was abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
I swear. I wonder if you like really like carefully read through the Bible if there was any mention of like a weird like conversation or weird species or something that.
Well, when you
Jesus
read the
talked
Book
to.
of Revelations, it does sound like an alien's coming down from
No,
outer space.
the Book of Revelations. That's zombies right there.
No,
Oh,
but
yeah.
when Jesus
Oh,
comes
yeah.
down.
When the undead come back alive.
No, but I'm
Says
talking
it right
about
there,
when
clear as
Jesus
day.
comes down
Clear as
and
day.
Mary comes down and, you know, a woman appears
Are you saying
with
Christ?
the moon.
Christ is an alien?
No, I'm not saying that Christ is an alien. I'm just saying that when you read the Book of Revelations, it does seem like, no, he's, you know, right away you have to like make things crazy.
No, I can see where you're thinking that an alien's coming down. But no, I don't think aliens interacting with humans is the end of the world though. I don't think that would be the end.
I do think that they come and experiment on people.
Oh, I think so.
I really do.
We would do the same thing though if we were as intelligent
Totally.
as them.
Totally.
If we were flying into different galaxies and like being like, look at you, like I'm gonna abduct you and take a look, we would do the same thing. We do it on animals all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, we're doing rat trials and stuff on scientific experiments. You know, we would do the same thing. But I'm interested to see. I mean, maybe Space Force turns into some Star Trek stuff and we're flying around.
That would
We
be
join the
so
Federation.
Exciting.
Imagine that if we had aliens living on Earth, like it was like the Federation and like we were like just an intergalactic government. How wild
I think that would
be?
be very exciting.
That
You
would
know,
be
because
wild.
then we'd get one thing I noticed about Star Trek is nobody had a weight problem. So I'm just saying.
No, that's not true.
was
Scott had a weight problem.
Scotty?
Scotty
He
had
was
a weight
thin in
problem.
the 60s. 60s. It was when he got
No,
older.
when he was with Kirk, he was pretty
Back
hefty.
in the
Rathacon?
60s. No, but that was in the
pretty
80s.
heavy. He was pretty
That's
heavy.
the 80s. I'm talking about the 60s, the CBS.
He was pretty heavy in Rathacon.
Well, you know, I mean, the beer, the scotch.
Yeah,
What are you
he
gonna
got
do?
pretty. Who knows? I mean, maybe that alien food gets you thin. Gets you thin.
Well, all I know
Yeah.
is that I would love how they go and they just go with a little scanner and be able to scan your body, and then they would just go like with one little thing, and their arm would be perfect again.
Yeah, they did that.
I could
know what
use
you're
that,
talking
man.
about.
I could use a nice little scan on my shoulders, my
Mhm.
knees.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. God, and imagine that aliens on Earth just walking among us, just casually. That'd be crazy, huh?
I'll tell you, we'll see how fast the human race starts getting along together. All of a sudden, it won't be anymore. Oh, that person's black, that person's Jewish, that person's Chinese. You'll see how fast we all become the human race then.
Yeah.
You know, because then we'll all start hating on the aliens.
Yeah, that's right. But then we'll just be racist together.
Yeah,
Against
you
the
know, we'll all
aliens.
start complaining, oh, those aliens, they're so disgusting. Those
Look at that.
aliens.
Look at that Klingon over there.
Right. We'll
We're
all figure
free.
it out. We'll all figure it out how to get along
I
once
know.
we have some. Maybe we need the aliens to come down here and put
Maybe.
everybody in check a little bit.
You know who would love the aliens?
Who?
Trump.
They'd probably be Trump fans.
They
You know,
would
when
be.
I went to Aruba and we went to that church,
Yep.
there was a guy across the street selling piraguas, right? So I was so excited. I'm thinking he's getting the thing going. They have a machine now. They literally put the ice
What?
and it comes out perfect. So they don't scrape anymore. And I'm like, wow, I guess it is 2021.
Yeah.
Things have evolved. But he had a license plate. He had mom, dad. Guess what the other license plate was?
What?
Trump. I'm like, even the Arubans love Trump. Because I bet a lot of people were
Oh
going
my
on
God!
vacation spending that Trump
You know,
money.
it's so funny. I'm watching. Well, this is Lauren's favorite show. She loves 90 Day Fiance or whatever. That's what it's called. And it's, you know, a U.S. citizen. You know, when they're out on vacation or they're doing a semester abroad or something, they meet the person that they love, right? So then they get this visa that they have to get married or whatever in these 90 days. Well, whatever. So there's this guy from Africa who's a huge Trump guy. Like has Trump underwear, Trump shirts, Trump hats, Trump flags, like everything. Like he loves Trump. Like he's, I guess, and in the show he sends videos all the time to Donald Trump. He's like, Donald Trump, I love you. I can't wait to become American. Like all this stuff. Like he's like sending it to Trump all the time. I think it's so funny because obviously it takes place. I think the season that we watched, it was filmed in like 2018 or whatever. So Trump was president.
I wonder what he did after the election.
I know.
I wonder if he stormed the Capitol.
I came to be with Trump. He took it.
If he was one of the people, one of the insurrectionists.
I know. What's that guy? Did you see that guy? They had him on trial today. That insurrectionist guy that wrote "Pelosi's a bitch" on her whiteboard in her office.
No, thank God I missed it.
Yeah, that guy. They had.
I just
It was
can't.
his trial. He goes. The guy, I guess the prosecutor was like, "Why would you write Pelosi's a bitch on her whiteboard?" And he goes, "Because Pelosi's a bitch." Just straight up in the
Pelosi
trial.
gets to say whatever she wants. That's
Yeah,
nasty about
he was
people
like-
she
he was
doesn't
like,
like.
Pelosi's
That
the
shit works
worst.
both ways. This dog, I think, has to go out because I made him some chicken. So I think he's
Oh,
like,
was he
I
harassing
need to
you
go
over there?
out. I need to go out. Hold on, what time? Your owner should be home
It's
soon.
6:40. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
Press.
your owner should be home
Fred
soon.
should be home soon, no?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, but we're not interrupting this program. Oh!
What do you got to
He's
say,
ready to
Nate?
take
Get
the
in
mic.
Put your snout in the mic.
I need to say that I really need a walk because my owner made some delicious chicken and it was so good. So now I need to, go to the bathroom. Olivia just took him out too before she went to play soccer. She's becoming a little more responsible.
Yeah, it was probably like a 2-minute walk.
You're probably right.
It was probably at the bottom of the driveway. We walked over to Chris's house and then walked back. That's probably what it was. Poor
Our
Names.
next door neighbor.
Names always got good walks when he was with me. He always gave
Yeah.
him the good walks.
I used to give him good walks too. I have to be honest with you, I never walked the dog anymore.
Yeah.
Never. Ever since COVID started, I've maybe walked him like 3 times. I'm not even, because Presley's always
Presley's
home
always
or
home,
Olivia's
or
always home.
somebody's always home to
Somebody's
walk the
always
dog.
home now.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's like,
Sometimes it's nice though. Sometimes I like going walking them.
No,
Or just
I
going
agree
outside?
with you, but the thing is, when you always have people home, and
Right.
then it's like, oh, I need this, I need that, and this is going on, I just feel like it really did wreak havoc on everything.
Yeah.
On everything that
Everybody
came back
had,
home.
you know, everybody had some struggles, I guess.
Even the,
Poor Nibs.
well, he loved it.
Well, he loved it
Presley
because he
was
got all
always
the
home.
love.
Yeah, he was happy. But man, it's been so. How was your weekend? My weekend was just so.
My weekend was actually pretty good. I did some yard work on Saturday,
Mhm.
and then we had a barbecue at Lauren's house. You know, because Lauren's dad, like, is always in Long Island, so we had a barbecue at Lauren's house, and just everybody brought something to cook, and I just put it on the grill.
That's nice because when it was here, nobody ever brought shit.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, everybody brought something this time.
Well, that was nice.
So we
I guess
grilled
people
some
are
barbecue.
growing up.
We grilled some burgers and dogs. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. Everybody loved the seasoning because I taught everybody that got to use adobo.
Oh, the adobo, salt,
So I
pepper,
used all your
oregano.
seasoning, like I when I did it all, and everybody was like, "God, like this is like so good. This is restaurant quality." I was like, "That's right. That's right. It is."
I think
remember.
that's great.
So it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. How was your weekend? I know you had a pretty hectic one with them.
Well,
with
yeah,
yesterday.
Yesterday was so hectic because we
Yeah.
had a couple of showings, and it's interesting. I don't want to reveal stuff now, but when this whole situation's over, I can't wait to be able to just open up the floodgates on
Right.
like certain things. But I did have fun. I hung out with my friends Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday evening and Saturday night, so that was good. You know, but I mean, I gotta tell you, it's just been so hectic. I can't wait for the summer to come.
I cannot wait for summer too. I'm very excited. for
I'm
summer.
I'm ready to
very
just sit
excited
right
for
by
summer.
the pool, relax, get a
Mhm.
tan.
Mhm.
No more running around with school.
I'm excited to go to the beach again. You know, I don't realize how much you miss the beach until like you stop going, right?
Mhm.
Because it's out of season, and then like, you know, by now in like May, I'm like ready. I'm like, let's go to the beach. Like,
I
let's
went to
just,
the beach and it was fantastic.
Yeah, like
Aruba.
that's
Oh, it
that's
was so
I
nice.
love going to the beach. It's awesome. I can sit on the sand, and then especially like if you got like a sandwich or something, and just like hang out all day on the beach.
Well, I told
It's
Dad.
the bomb.
I think I won. I'm not even sure, but I think I won a basket at the ND auction, the beach basket.
Oh yeah.
So I said, "Oh, Scott, like Father's Day, we can go." And he's like, "I don't want to go to the beach up here. I want to go to the Pensacola beach."
Oh no.
He's becoming a beach
He's
snob
gonna
already.
complain. Yeah, he's complaining.
He's
about the
gonna.
beach
Oh my
already.
gosh, he's gonna make my life miserable.
He is.
He
If
is
you guys
just-
don't sell,
If we don't sell and move, oh, he's gonna be the
he's
most
gonna
unhappy
complain about
person.
everything. Just the air. He's gonna be like,
The
this air
air.
sucks.
I mean, I feel bad, man. It's gonna be a long couple of years for Olivia and Presley and I.
Well, Brez is almost done. Brez is, well, then again, he's going right down the road, so.
Well, Presley
At
wants
Yale.
to go to
He
Yale.
wants to go to Yale, and that's about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
So, Brez will be back here every day. Are you kidding me?
it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting. But this weekend we have a lot of yard work. We're gonna try
Yeah.
to make everything. Even though everything looks great already.
I gotta say, when I drove up to the house today, it looked phenomenal.
I
Like,
think
I was like,
everything
this
looks
looks
good.
great. I was like, you know, the property looks fantastic.
I guess Dad wants to put down fresh mulch or whatever.
Yeah, obviously, and you know it should. Whenever you put that fresh red, it looks really good.
And then we want to open
Looks
the
very
pool.
bright.
We're
Are
gonna
you
open
opening the pool?
soon.
So
Not
when,
this
when are you
weekend.
opening the pool?
May 3rd.
So next weekend,
Next Monday.
next Monday.
Yeah,
you
next
opening the
Monday
pool?
we're gonna open the pool.
Good.
And that's
It's always
really
exciting
nice.
when you open the pool.
It is exciting.
It is exciting. It's
It's
like, here
once
we
the
go.
pool opens,
Yeah.
it's like it's like
Here we
it's
go.
getting real. Summer's
Yeah.
around the corner. I can't wait for Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's always like the kickoff, you know, having you get like a big cookout or something,
Yeah.
start cooking on the grill. It's the best.
We were talking about the Branford Fest. I don't think there's a Branford Fest this year.
I haven't seen any updates on the Branford Fest. I know that they're doing the fireworks. They
I
said
know
that the
they're doing the
fireworks are on,
fireworks.
but they haven't said anything about the fest.
Gabe graduates June 18th. That would be opening night of the Branford Fest because that's Father's Day weekend.
Well, usually they do it that time because the
It's-
stage is up.
Yes, the stage is up, but
Yeah.
graduation's never been on opening night of the Branford Fest.
No, it hasn't. Usually they do that stupid concert though that they always have.
I always enjoyed that concert.
No,
It was like a
it's
little
not.
exciting, But yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
Gabe's graduation is
It's a
June
Friday,
18th.
June 18th.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so it's on a Friday, and then Ollie's coming up
Yep.
for
Yep.
his graduation. So we're really excited to see Ollie.
Yes. Lauren and I look forward to it. We'll both be there.
Gabe graduating from high school. Then June 28th, we'll be driving him down to Manhattan like
I know.
a couple of days
to
before
the
that.
city.
And he's lucky because of COVID, he gets his own room. He has his
Oh
own
wow!
dorm
So you
room.
basically have like your own apartment. Is basically what that is.
Let me tell you, that apartment is the size of this dining room table.
Oh, is it?
Small. This dining room
You know, bro, yeah,
is bigger than the apartment.
my
than
buddy,
his dorm room.
my buddy Ryan from Notre Dame. He went to Pace, I think, or not, maybe not Pace. He went to one of those New York City schools, and his apartment was so little. Like it was like probably like smaller than this room.
It is
Small
smaller than this
shit.
room. I could
Yeah.
like it's literally the size of the door.
It was so small that he was debating on just commuting every day. Like he was like, I may just get on the train every morning because I'd rather, you know.
He's never going to be in his dorm room because he's gone early in the morning
Right.
and he doesn't get home till late at night. So he's probably just going to come right into his room and collapse.
Yeah, and go to bed.
But I mean, we watched some YouTube videos. It's honestly like the size of the door is the size of the dorm room.
Oh boy,
I'm like,
that's a rough.
yeah,
that's
it's
rough.
going to be tight. It's going to be tight, Gabe, but it'll be exciting.
Who knows? Once he may go big his freshman year, okay? He'll be living on Park Ave in no time. He'll go big because
The
they love
actors-
those young actors. They
Yeah.
love those young actors. So
Gabe is so much fun to watch too.
he is, yeah.
You know, like he's just like.
I could see him in like one of those comedy shows because Gabe's
I
very
could
funny.
see it.
I think it's him in one of those.
Well,
comedy
even
shows, too.
dramatic roles, like if he's singing some sad song.
Oh yeah.
That's the one thing I'm gonna miss is all the singing around the house.
Mm.
You know, even Olivia. Olivia goes, "There's not one day that I don't hear Gabe singing at least an hour around the house."
Yeah, I already, you can just hear him belting up there.
Yeah.
And everybody hears it.
That's
They hear
one
it
thing we're definitely
outside.
gonna
He
miss.
opens the windows. You can hear it like in the neighborhood sometimes. I remember walking the dogs over by like Ecology Park. You can hear.
One day he's gonna have to come sing at the Branford Fest.
Once he goes big,
Yeah.
they'll let him in for sure. Dennis
Maybe.
Nardello would be thrilled to have him come and sing.
I know Dennis Nardello is so great, isn't he?
Yeah, remember
He's
when he was
perfect
gonna have him do that recording in that studio?
Yeah.
Remember he was gonna have him do that.
Yeah, he wanted
recorded
Gabe,
us.
and then I don't know what happened. Somehow
Gabe-
we just dropped the ball. Or
Yeah, I think
Gabe
Gabe
was-
just wasn't into it because he was upset because he lost.
Yeah, well, it was the fix was in.
The fix is.
Gabe is such a great singer.
He is. He's
He'll
really
have
good.
plenty of time to.
That was
Yeah.
early on in his career. He was only like 10, so early in his
I think
career.
he was like 11 or 12.
He was in like the
Might have
sixth
been
grade.
sixth grade,
Because
yeah.
I remember because Veronica won, and Veronica was in high school. Like we were in high
Yeah.
school together, and this was like still when I think it was
And
like a
Veronica
sophomore or
was great.
junior.
Yeah, Veronica was a really good singer.
Yeah, she is.
I wonder how she's doing.
She's doing good. She's got a recording. She's recording. She's like an artist now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Maybe you
V.
guys could do a duet together someday. You could-
VEE. It's on like Apple and Spotify and stuff. You can
Oh,
listen to
that's
her.
so
Quick
cool.
plug. Quick plug V.
V.
Yeah.
When I was a show, that was a show about aliens. It was called V.
Oh, there you go. Maybe she was abducted and now she's V the alien.
Yeah.
But I can see it.
Man, well, at least things have been light in the news, and there hasn't been any.
It has. I know. We didn't get any Joe Biden bashing in today. It's too bad. We didn't really have to say anything. Oh, here we go. Well, Bill Benny just said, Will misses going to the beach too. He's not going to have Buffalo Wild Wings before the trip this time. Oh God, I remember that. That was bad.
Oh.
When we went to Long Beach, did I ever tell you
Yeah.
that story? Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
that
that's
was a
not a
poor-
good decision.
Poor mistake was going to Buffalo Wild Wings before that trip. Oh God, that was long. Oh,
You
I
should-
know. Lawrence Brothers' bathroom was just brutal. Brutal. It was just one after the other. It's terrible.
Well,
Really bad. Great trip though.
that
I know.
was a great trip. You guys had a great day.
He moved out. He's over on the other side of the island now. He's like far out.
Well, is he further out, but still on the
He's not
south
on the
shore?
beach
Is he-
anymore.
Oh.
He's in the middle. He got a
That
condo with his
sucks.
girlfriend. They moved in together. So
Really?
yeah, it's over for the beach.
Mm.
It's Misquamica trips. Even though Zach Cash's girlfriend is having her 22nd birthday party on the Jersey Shore in Toms River, so we're going to that.
Tom's River's fun.
Yeah, so we're gonna head down there. I think it's in like July. So I know that's a trip that we're doing. So that should be pretty fun.
I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we should have a good time. We'll figure it out. We'll have some fun times this summer. Misquamicott's pretty cheap. It's like $8 parking, so you just pay. And
I love Misquamicut.
I do
I think
too.
it's one
It's
of the most
fantastic.
beautiful beaches.
I think
I
it's
really
great.
love it.
I love going, especially that place that the Justin Osler's parent Darcy showed us.
Yeah,
With we get the table.
yeah.
Like, it was great. We went. We got a table for I think we got it for like $15, and we set our stuff up, and it was awesome.
Yeah, you park right in front of it. You open
Yeah.
your trunk and you have, I mean, I love that place.
I did too. It was great.
You know, you just got to get there early.
You know,
You gotta
you
get
do.
there
You
early
gotta
when
wake up
parking
at like
fills
7
up.
a.m. and drive out there and settle down for the day.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be prepared. So, no, I agree. You definitely gotta get there early for sure.
It's,
But
it's a
I'm
good
ready.
place.
I'm ready for the beach.
I agree
excited.
with you.
I'm excited for summer. We're looking
I
forward to
totally
it.
agree with you. I can't wait.
Some concerts are coming back too this year. I saw at Xfinity in Hartford. They're having those outdoor concerts. You didn't like going there though.
It was, everybody smoked so much pot.
Yeah.
Everywhere was pot. I don't know. I'm getting too old. I'm not gonna lie.
You're getting too
I'm
old.
getting
You can't hang out
old.
with the dogs anymore.
No.
No.
The big dogs, the little dogs.
The little
honey, I'm
dogs.
the big dog now. All right, I've been around,
You've
and
been around.
I am not gonna be around a bunch of little fools smoking pot.
The Mary Jane.
Oh.
The legal Mary Jane.
You know, so many people are gonna fry their brains. I don't even know what they're in for. It's terrible because drugs. Did you see that big billboard going towards West Haven that it says, "Are you addicted to marijuana? Do you want to
Well,
quit?"
you know what's so funny is that
Oh.
I always have these arguments with people all the time because you know they always like to say that marijuana's not addictive. Marijuana's not addictive. You know, I have a lot of fights with people about it, and I'm like, you know,
It's addictive.
Yeah,
And it's a
like-
gateway drug.
and you know what I always say to them, and this is scientifically proven. You're never as high as your first high from doing that specific drug. So if you are smoking to get high, but you're never actually getting high because you've done it so much that it's become just normal. Like you can normally interact while high because you do it so much, but you can't stop because it's become a part of life. That is the definition of addicted. Like addiction, like you are addicted because that you need to do that in order to continue on with your day. You need to get high.
People who smoke pot all the time, their voices change too.
Yeah.
The way that they speak, the way that they behave. Like, you know, when you listen to Cheech and Chong, that's actually how people who are smoking pot all the time start to talk. Like, they'll be like, "Hey, I'm going to get a slice. I'm hungry." Like, it's like this little... but I said, "Oh, I thought that pot wasn't addictive, but there's a sign, Yale University, are you addicted to marijuana?"
Yep.
And I'm like, you know, these people are so full of shit.
Legal marijuana.
You know, and then they'll have other scientists who say, "Oh, legalizing pot will be fine for society. It's going to be great. Don't worry."
Yeah, and now you have the decriminalization of heroin and all those drugs too.
It's
so it's just
really-
becoming normal. Just get fucked up.
Well, you know what? And those people aren't going to be productive members of society. And then they're just going to keep taxing the shit out of us to keep paying.
And then people like Joe Biden are going to be like,
to
you have to
subsidize
bail. People
them.
like producer Gabe are going to be like, yeah, you have to take care of those people.
Yeah, he says that now. Wait till
It's
he
a
gets
human
paid.
right.
Let me tell you, he was working 2 days at McDonald's doing good. He worked the third day. He only made like $20 more. He goes, "What the hell? I'm working a full third day extra. I'm thinking I'm going to make all this money." I said, "Honey, because the more you make, the more they take."
Oh, yeah.
So now you're in a different tax bracket. So that third day is for Uncle Sam. That ain't for you
Uncle
anymore.
Sam. That's right.
So he wasn't happy. And Dad was like, "Oh, you're already
The
becoming
first seed.
conservative."
The
Yeah.
first seed. I love
Well,
it.
because he's working hard.
Yeah.
You know, he's working hard, and he's like, "Oh, let me work more so I can save money." That's what we all think. That's what we all think, that we're working hard to save money, to have money. Think again, honey.
Joe Biden's like, let me see that.
Yeah. That's when they're like, "Just smoke pot and watch Netflix. It'll be fine."
Did you see that last episode of Bridgerton?
I have to admit, I watched Bridgerton.
You did.
I loved it. I was like,
Did you
"This
see
is
that
so
actor's
well."
not coming back though?
I saw he wasn't
Yeah, he's
coming
not
back.
He's done. Speaking of freaking actors. Oh wait, nobody
Are we
watched the
talking about
Oscars.
nobody watched the
watched the
Oscars, but I
Oscars.
did see the headline in the New York Post today
What's
that Anthony Hopkins is that the one who won?
For what?
Who's
No,
that?
he didn't win Best Picture or Best Actor.
No, he
Did
did.
Promising Young Woman win?
No,
He's the only one
Anthony
who won.
Hopkins. The
Some guy from
England. Isn't it on. Let me get the name.
Get the name. For
Anthony
us.
Hopkins.
He did win Best
Anthony
Actor.
Hopkins won Best Actor. Didn't even show up to the Oscar. And
They stuffed
Chadwick
the,
Boseman
yeah, the guy
was
who-
supposed to win.
Mm-hmm. But
And
he
he-
died.
Right,
He's
wasn't
dead.
he Black Panther?
He was Black Panther, yeah.
He was phenomenal
Well,
in Black Panther.
he was the guy that he did Black Panther, Civil War, Avengers 1, or Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. And then that other movie that we watched, the 21 Bridges or whatever, and then that movie, and he did it all while having stage 4 cancer. So he was dying while he was filming all of those movies, and then finally, he just died.
Well, I found it so interesting in that 21 Bridges.
Mm.
Like, I remember watching it, and I said, wow, he's so skinny in this movie. Remember I even said
no,
something
you
to
did.
you?
You said it
I
as
said,
soon as
was
it
he-
started.
Was he juicing during
Oh,
Black
is that
Panther
the
or
movie
something?
that we watched that we were like, it's so bad?
No, the 21 Bridges I actually liked.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
pretty good.
it
21
wasn't
Bridges.
the one where we were like, this makes no sense.
No, that was the Christopher Nolan movie with
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, and
That was the worst movie
that
ever.
movie was terrible.
Why did you even
Yeah.
have to remind
Tenet.
me so it's back in
Tenet,
my
yes,
brain?
Tenet was the name of the
don't
movie.
Watch
That
Tenet.
movie was awful.
Tenet was the worst
That
movie
movie
ever.
was one of the worst movies ever made. But no, he was 21 Bridges was pretty good. That was
It was a great movie. It was really good. I like that movie.
Yeah, I thought that movie was really good too. But he was fantastic as Black Panther. Yeah, he was really really good.
Well,
But,
Anthony Hopkins is a really good actor.
Yeah.
You know, he was in all the movies Hannibal the Cannibal. And then he was in this movie, I guess, where he played a pope or something like that. Is that what he won the Oscar for?
I don't know.
wasn't a
I
fan of
honestly,
that movie.
I went through all of the winners of the Oscars and I couldn't name a single movie that I actually watched that won like all the. I've never even heard of these movies. Like I never saw a trailer or like heard of these movies in the theaters or
Well,
like
the
on
one
anything.
that
Like I didn't
won-
even see any of them.
The movie that won, I don't know if I can get the name of it because
The only one we watched was Promising Young Woman.
That was
I
nominated.
liked Promising
That was
Young
nominated
Woman.
for Best Picture, but
That
it
was a
didn't
good
win.
movie.
It didn't win.
That was the only Oscar movie that we watched.
The movie that won, they said, was so depressing, it was tough to get through.
Yeah.
But they said it was like the perfect movie for the year that we've had.
Well,
'Cause people will
I
have
think a lot of the like a lot of the movies like that were supposed to come out this year never came out because you obviously couldn't go to the movie theater. So I mean, we'll have to see. It's going to be really interesting in the movie industry how it comes back because so many of the movie companies signed on with these streaming sites that they're not even releasing half of the movies into the theaters anymore. They're just releasing them onto the streaming sites, and you pay an extra $10 to get the movie on your streaming site. So that's how they're gonna make the money. But
Let me tell you, they gotta open the movie theaters back up. Movie theaters gave me so much sanity when you kids were young that I'd be like, you know, the cold winter or
$10 or $5 Tuesdays.
Yes.
Yep, we used to go
And
all the time.
then the other day would be like if it was really hot in the
Yeah.
summer, that I'd be like, let's go to the movies, and we'd go to the movies and cool down and watch a movie. Like it gets you out of the house and gives you like teenagers.
Movies were the best. I always loved going to the movie theater.
Olivia would be going
Even
now.
during COVID, when they just reopened it and there was literally nothing to show in the theaters because all the movie companies pushed their movies back, they were showing like old movies. Like I went to see Empire Strikes Back.
Just
in
out
the
of
movie theaters.
desperation.
Just to
the
go,
movie
like just to
theater.
go out, like just to be able to like leave the house. And the movie theater was pretty crowded to see Empire Strikes Back. Like
I
just
have
be
to
outside
say,
the house.
I mean, if people are going to stay home, they need a house with a home theater. They
Yeah.
need a house like where they can
Well,
just
remember,
go.
Dad showed you that home theater, and you're like, I don't want a house where we could just sit for just sitting. You said that. That's what you said.
I did, and I still don't want that house. But I'm thinking if somebody wanted this one, they can make one downstairs very easily. Well, it's already 7 o'clock.
I know we had an hour and 15-minute show today.
All right. Well, we better
How
get
about that?
going.
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
and then
we
we're
do have
doing
to get
another
going.
show on Thursday.
Yep, so we'll be back Thursday. Thank you guys for everybody that tuned in. Our loyal watcher, Bill Benny, is here with us for the full
I
show.
know.
So thank you for watching. The Bennies.
Thanks, Bill.
Love
Thanks,
it.
Christy. I hope you're feeling better, Christy. I'm sorry to hear that you're sick.
And, yeah, and then, so we'll be back Thursday. We'll do another live show at 5:45 on Thursday.
Yep.
And this will be on tonight on Apple and Spotify for those who like to listen in the car
Awesome.
and everything. And we'll see you guys on Thursday.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for watching today.